go over 2 techniques for playing, adding 2 sticks, but also how to play a new way of playing with the rubber mallet and round mallet if you have one of these. So let's begin. We went over last time going around the bowl with this stick. So there is another way to play to make the bowl sing, and it's by keeping the mallet in a smaller space of the bowl and going back and forth, kind of like you're doing a paint stroke, very gentle, wrist relaxed, hand relaxed. This keeps the bowl singing, but it doesn't let the bowl get too loud if you keep the same pressure. So when I go around, even just one time, the sound gets pretty intense. So this is another option for playing with this mallet. Keeps the volume pretty consistent and a little bit lower, so you have a little more control over that sound. Back and forth strokes, very gentle. Okay, so now once you have practiced with your left hand enough by itself, because the left hand, if it's your non-dominant hand, may need a little extra practice. So after you've done that, we can start to bring both hands together, and I like to start with the left hand. It gets me grounded in the left hand movement. You want to be able to not look at the bowl, so you want to be able to scan without having to look at what your hand is doing on the left. So once that's started, you can then add in the right hand. You can work on these 2 different strokes, going around, maybe even releasing as the sound gets too loud for this right hand. I release that there. If any bowl gets too loud, all you have to do is release the hand, or even gently touch the bowl to bring the volume down. And then I'm going to bring in the other stroke here, going back and forth. This might take a little more coordination because it's 2 different movements, but I can keep both notes pretty much the same volume. Now, if I want one bowl to increase in volume, let's say I want my left hand to increase, I just move more quickly with the left hand, bring it up in volume, and then back to a regular movement speed around the bowl. So remember, the quicker you move around the bowl, the louder it gets. Slow and consistent movement will bring you a very smooth and softer tone. Then you can add in other bowls, keeping the left hand going in that movement. You can even just chime the bowl, a different one. Move over to chime another bowl. Bringing it back to the original one. Notice as you release from one bowl, I'm going to release from my right hand, the sound is still going. As I play this bowl, I now am hearing 3 tones, even though I stopped playing. So that happens with the crystal bowls. Sound will continue on, so just be aware of that. Sound all 3 if you have 3 bowls. I'm still hearing the C, my low bowl, while I play the other one. You can practice moving the left hand then. Keep your right hand in a drone. That means keep it in a consistent tone. kind of mallet can be a little tricky because you don't want the wood to hit the crystal, so you do have to keep an eye on what your hand is doing. The more you do it, the better you'll get used to the position that's needed. So you can practice moving around the left hand, and then practice moving around the right hand. So be aware that as you stop playing one bowl, it's still ringing out. You can allow it to ring out and then blend in some other notes. So you're blending the sounds as they continue to resonate in the space around you. So the next thing I want to mention is about making phrases with the bowls. So a phrase is basically a pattern, and it can be a very simple pattern. And you can create a phrase. Let's say I start with my left hand, and my phrase is going to be moving from my big bowl, which is a C. I'm going to move to the A. I'm going to move to the B. And then I'm going to move back to the C. Feels like I've landed back home on the home note, or you can call it your fundamental starting note. So this is working with phrasing. I'm going to repeat that phrase. A, B, and C. You can still phrase even if you only have 3 bowls. It's basically just about finding a pattern, repeating it, repeating the notes, and repeating the timing. So timing matters here. I'm creating about the same space of timing when I shift from the bowls to the A and then to the B. I'm creating about the same timing here. Same pace. You can think of it as pacing also. So I start with the C, I go to the A, and then I move to the B, and I resolve back to the C. Switch mallets when you're playing, you're totally free to do that. Let's say I want a different texture and I want to hear this texture on the bowl. Just have another mallet ready. Work on switching the hands up so that the left hand also moves around. I like to start with some of my bigger and lower pitched bowls, so the lowest tones. I like to start with those and then end with those because it brings a feeling of coming back home after playing through phrasing and playing what I'm playing. It resolves to a feeling where it feels like it's landed on a home position. So you might try that. Start with the lower tones and then always return back to that pitch that feels like it's the home pitch, which is also called the fundamental tone of what you're playing. You can also chime your bowls. You can chime the bowls. You don't necessarily have to always do the stroke around. So it's just another way to add extra texture of sound into your phrasing. You're adding sound texture. Think of it like painting with different colors. There's different ways to create